RetroDaze.
Not long after Halloween ends, and long before the turkey's been carved, many of us begin thinking about that other holiday sneaking up behind the piles of gourds, pies, and fallen leaves. No, not Christmas, Black Friday.
That's right. The joyous wonders of unfettered consumerism, basted in a healthy coating of deep discounts and garnished with a sense of panic, has long been the dessert of choice for many Americans, stuffed on the main course of Thanksgiving Day gluttony. After all the food, we crave something more materialistic to glut our need for things, and what better than a vast variety of toys and technology? So, grab your wallets and tasers, we're going Black Friday shopping. We haven't used our trusty time machine for a few episodes, so bear with us while producer Tony swaps out the plutonium-powered nuclear reactor for an upgraded Mr. Fusion. Believe me, it's going to make for a much smoother ride than we're used to. While we're waiting, let's go over some potentially life-saving information about Black Friday to ensure our trip is a relatively safe one.
Have a safe Black Friday and welcome to Thunderdome!
Back when I used to work retail, Black Friday was what they called a blackout date, meaning you were not allowed to take the day off. Often, early in the wee hours, before the shoppers descended upon us like rabid demons, the manager would give us a pep talk. Among all the other hip hip hooray rally cries, I remember the manager explaining where the term Black Friday originated. She told us, contrary to popular belief, the name Black Friday was derived from the idea that retail businesses were operating in the red, also known as operating at a loss, and the big shopping extravaganza would finally bump them into the black, which means making a profit. The logic made sense, so I went through most of my adult life believing what I ended up learning was actually just a huge corporate lie meant to sanitize the violent history of the busiest shopping day of the year. According to Sarah Pruitt for History.com, though it's true that retail companies used to record losses in red and profits in black when doing their accounting, this version of Black Friday's origin is the officially sanctioned but inaccurate story behind the tradition. So what is the real story behind the name, and why hide it behind a half-truth? In the 50s, Philadelphia police coined the term as a result of the widespread chaos that would occur the day after Thanksgiving. At the time, the reason for the sudden influx of tourists and shoppers was because of the Army-Navy football game held the Saturday after Thanksgiving every year. It led to a natural growth in sales, but also led to crowds, traffic, and shoplifters, which exhausted officers had to deal with during long shifts. Despite the negative aspects, retailers took notice of the sharp influx of shoppers and, by 1961, had leaned into the busy shopping day, at one point even trying, unsuccessfully, to change the name to Big Friday. Although the name and shopping experience stuck in Philadelphia, the rest of the country didn't catch the Black Friday bug until around the late 80s. But even in the 90s, many retailers had yet to adopt the name Black Friday.
Tomorrow, Shopko's having a sale so big, I don't need to shout. At 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, this incredible sale starts, and it's only 3 hours long, so you have to be here at 7 a.m.
What's the first thing you'll want to do after Thanksgiving? You'll want to go to Hudson's After Thanksgiving sale.
It's Hex After Thanksgiving sales and clearances. Get a head start on all your holiday gift shopping with spectacular savings of up to 50%.
Are you ready for the biggest savings event of the year? Well, we are. This Friday morning at Walmart, save is a very big word. Friday morning from 7 to 10 a.m., you will save on a wide selection of items for the holidays.
Around the late 90s and early 2000s, retailers began using the red to black story to erase negative connotations, and slowly, after Thanksgiving sales became Black Friday sales. Though, as we all know, before long, Black Friday would find another way to become synonymous with violence once again.
Black Friday bedlam once again took over America's malls and department stores. Perhaps the most alarming is this footage from inside a Philadelphia mall, where two women began brawling at 2:30 in the morning, one eventually pulling out a taser. You can hear the crackle of the stun gun. And check out this brawl from inside a Texas Walmart as two women battle for a TV set. police eventually throwing one woman to the floor and cuffing her. Videos showing off chaos now seem as customary as the turkey dinner.
Although some often point to the Cabbage Patch Doll riots of 1983 as the first of the Black Friday incidents, this came before the widespread use of the term, and the incidents occurred across the entire holiday shopping season. In fact, except for a couple small issues, we managed to get through Black Fridays of the 90s without any major violence. The phenomenon didn't really take shape until the mid-2000s. According to Margaret Hartman for Intelligencer, in 2005, several people were hospitalized in Michigan and New Jersey after being trampled in big box stores. The next year, Walmart employees were pinned against stacks of merchandise in Ohio, a Virginia man hit another customer in a Best Buy, and in California, 9 people were injured when a mall dropped gift certificates from the ceiling. 2008 brought us our first Black Friday fatality, after over 2,000 shoppers stampeded into a Walmart, trampling an employee on their way to grab discounted items. This tipping point led to ever-increasing injuries and deaths. Here in the retro community, we aren't always the kindest when it comes to contemporary technology and the advancements of the digital landscape. But if there's one thing I think we can all agree on, it's that online shopping and the advent of Cyber Monday has reduced the number of Black Friday incidents down to almost zero. In fact, writer Tony reports that when he discusses Black Friday with his students every year, the general response is one of apathy and even confusion. The younger generation, it seems, doesn't understand why anyone would bother going out to shop on Black Friday when most of the deals can be had from the comfort of their own homes.
Let's give VoiceOver John a quick break so we can, yep, you guessed it, like our video, subscribe to the channel, and activate that notification bell. By golly, I like the way you think.
Well then, time-traveling friend, I saw the look of terror wash over your expression while I relayed the violent history of Black Friday, but fear not, I'd never put you in harm's way, and our short trip today is bringing us firmly into the 1990s when Black Friday sales were still called after Thanksgiving sales, and the most you'll have to worry about is incompatible cell phone service. You know the drill. Load into the RetroDaze Time Machine with me, the Tonys, Alyssa, and Jimmy, and get ready for the best shopping spree you've had in decades.
The day after Thanksgiving, anyone getting to Hills beginning at 6 a.m. can get incredible early bird specials. Better hurry to Hills 2-day sale. Early bird specials good 6 to 10 a.m. only on Friday. Look for Hills insert and save big on early bird specials between 6 and 10 a.m. Plus, a free ornament to the first 400 shoppers. All part of Hills' incredible 2-day sale. Save big. Don't miss it.
We land directly in the Best Buy parking lot amid hundreds of other shoppers waiting in line for tech deals by the dozen. An errant advertisement circular flies by in a cool autumn gust, and Alyssa snags it before it can escape. Check it out! She holds the paper out so we can all gawk at the 90s era after Thanksgiving sale prices. This is the decade of Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Game Boy Color, Sony PlayStation, the Sega Saturn, PC gaming, and more. It was a wild time to be a gamer, and depending on your age in the 90s, it was almost a foregone conclusion that you'd have at least one system or video game on your holiday wish list. The Sega Genesis is front and center, boasting a sales price sports bundle that comes with 3 games for $122.99. Some other deep discount Genesis games are listed for $16.99, including Pitfall, Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures, and Wheel of Fortune. Not exactly AAA releases, but who can argue with those prices? On the other side, a few PlayStation games, all sports titles as well. On the top section, we can see the clear result of the DVD revolution, with VHS tapes knocked down to a measly $5.99 apiece. Another page of the ad boasts 4-hour specials, including a $1,000 computer package, $40 Game Boys, and a $10 fax modem. Enough with the advertisements, Jimmy whines. Let's go inside already. We all agree. After all, why bother traveling through time if all we're going to do is read some ads? Only producer Tony has a slightly different suggestion. Forget Best Buy, let's go to the mall. The parking lot here is even more jammed than the Best Buy one, and the doors have already opened for midnight madness. Hordes of people rush inside, and we're caught up in the rush, being swept along like so much driftwood in the ocean. Although Thanksgiving ended only minutes earlier, midnight on Black Friday already smells, sounds, and looks like Christmas. Inside the mall, there's a giant Christmas tree adorned with hundreds of ornaments and lights. The aroma of pine mingles with mall food and coffee. The distinct tinkle of bells jingling in the distance calls our attention to some elves setting up Santa's workshop, no doubt opening a little later when children might actually be awake. It's insane to think mere hours ago, the whole RetroDaze team was sitting around an enormous Thanksgiving feast, complete with every autumnal food and beverage imaginable. Turkey, apple cider, pumpkin pie, stuffing, and sweet potato casserole still fills our senses. And yet, here we stand at the dead center of a holiday bazaar. The sudden shift from pumpkin spice to candy canes is enough to make me dizzy, but there's little time for reflection because the crowd is pushing our backs, so we move with the writhing masses. Writer Tony gasps, then says, "This way!" We all follow, and before long, we're inside a Walden Books. Jimmy huffs, "A bookstore on Black Friday? Come on, man." Tony points at him, a stern look on his face. "Don't you get between me and deep discount Stephen King books. I'll cut you." Looks like the true Black Friday spirit is flowing freely today. We all give Tony a wide berth and peruse the sales. Unsurprisingly, we all find some excellent deals on things like Goosebumps, magazines, and calendars. Okay, I say. It's my pick next, and I think you know what that means. We wade back into the crowd, and I lead the team to, you guessed it, Electronics Boutique. Making our way through the crowds, headed to the glowing red EB in the distance, Jimmy says, "I think we're a little late for your beloved Atari, aren't we, John?" "Don't be so sure," I reply. "The Atari 2600 may have ended production in 1992, but there was still the Jaguar in production from 93 to 96 and the Lynx from 89 to 95. Inside the EB, however, I admit I'm deluding myself. Clearly, by the mid-90s, neither of those systems would have much, if any, representation in the brick-and-mortar store, with the majority of shelf space relegated to PC gaming, Sega systems, and Nintendo. "Whoa, you remember stuff like this?" Alyssa asks, pointing to a shelf of computer accessories, including an internet phone CD, Sound Blaster CDs, and a whole section of different PC joysticks like the Wingman Extreme and Sky Master. After a brief perusal, our little cavalcade wanders into the hallway and continues to browse the mini-mall stores, including Sears, Radio Shack, Spencer Gifts, Sam Goody, and, of course, KB Toys.
This is what it looks like before the store opens at 5 o'clock the day after Thanksgiving. Notice how nice and neat everything is on the shelves. No customers in here yet, but just wait and see.
Hold on. We'll say one additional thing.
Oh my goodness. They just keep coming and coming and coming. And all these people at 6 in the morning. Goodness. Everybody's packed shoulder to shoulder, completely obsessed with buying Christmas presents at the best bargain, best price you can possibly get it on these early bird specials.
You tap me on the shoulder, almost fumbling an armful of games, and say, "Did you remember to bring era-appropriate money to pay for all this stuff?" We all look to producer Tony, who removes a credit card from his pocket that certainly wouldn't work in the 1990s. Oops.
Welcome back, time traveler. I'm sorry to say we did have to leave all those wonderful retro goodies in the past, but I hope you still enjoyed wandering the halls of a Black Friday mall. As I think back, I have to admit, I never actually went out shopping the day after Thanksgiving. And my parents often did, but they were out looking for gifts for me, and it was a lot easier to do without my little hands pulling at their bags, trying to figure out what they bought. It has me wondering though, did you ever go out shopping on Black Friday as a kid, or did you spend the day after Thanksgiving eating leftovers and watching TV? Well, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments, and of course, if you enjoy our content, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and maybe even activating that ubiquitous notification bell. It really does make a huge difference. Let's meet again next week to celebrate yesteryear, right here on RetroDaze.
Clicky clacky.